All right, let's work on problem number 8 for quiz access on chapter 3. We'll first see to prepare closing entries and a post-closing trial balance. All right, so we're going to first, let's just take all these values here and paste them into our spreadsheet as values. There we go. Got everything there. So now we have the base data to work with. And let's work through what we got to do. So we have to prepare the closing entries and assume the account number for income summary is 901. Okay, so that's number 1. So closing entries, those are all associated with these items right here, right? So let's just highlight these right here. These are the income statement accounts. So first one, let's do, let's do date, account, debit, and credit. Okay, so closing entry is going to be for 12/31, and we're going to do a closing account to revenue, right? So in order to close revenue, we have to debit it and then put it to the income summary. So let's see, we'll do services revenue for 42,000, and we'll do income summary. Now I know that they have an account number 901. We'll just I guess we could do this. Move that over there. Number. So services revenue is 404 and income summary is 901. Okay, and that's going to be $42,000. Then we're going to do on 12/31, we're going to do all these expense ones. So let's just go ahead and take what we got here, copy it, and let's paste it up here because these are all going to be credit. So let's do it actually the one below, just values. We're going to take all these values and we're going to move them right over to here. Okay, and this is going to go to 901 income summary, and that's going to be for the sum of all these values. Okay. All right. Now we have income summary. We have 2 items coming in. So now we're going to do this to retained earnings. So let's retained earnings. We have a higher credit than we have a debit. So retained earnings is going to be a credit. We're going to debit income summary. So let's just do 901 income summary. And we can just do plus this minus this, right? And to retained earnings, and retained earnings is 318. Retained earnings is 9550. And then lastly, we're going to move dividends over into the retained earnings. And dividends, we've got a debit here, so we're going to credit dividends and we're going to debit retained earnings for 6,000. And income summary 901. Income, no, not income summary. This is dividends, right? My bad. Dividends is going to be 6,000. So those should be all of our closing entries. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so closing entries. Let's do services revenue for 42. And this is a close of revenue counts. And then income summary. I love how they give you all sorts of rows to think that you got to do more than just a couple. All right, and we're going to now close our expense entries. So this is going to be income summary for 32,450, and we're going to do depreciation expense right here. Let's just go ahead and fill these out. Salaries expense. Let's do Actually, I guess we could use the numbers 622. Haha. I already did that one. Let's do 637. And let's do 640. And oops, that wasn't right. 640. Right. And let's do 65 too. Solid supplies. So we got that. Depreciation, salaries, insurance, rent, and supplies. Now we can just drop in numbers. 2,000, 24486, 1764, 2814, and 1386. Let's just make sure they all populated correctly. There we go. Okay, now we can go over to the closing the income summary. So this is going to be 901, right? And we can do 9550. And this is going to be retained earnings, which is 318. And that's going to be 9550 as a credit. Okay. And then we can also do dividends, which is going to be 318. And it's going to be 6,000 and 901. Oops, that's not 901. Dividends is 319. 319. Dividends, there we go, for 6,000. Okay. You check my work. And that answer is not complete. Let's look at this. Why is it not complete? Oh, because I got one more thing to do, yeah. Now I got to do the post-closing trial balance. Now on the post-closing trial balance, we know that, let's see where we at. Come back here. Okay, post-closing balance, we're going to have all of this is going to be exactly the way you see it because we haven't made any other adjustments. We just closed out these ones right here, right? So this is going to, we'll just make this green. Okay, that's going to stay the same. What's not going to stay the same is retained earnings and dividends, right? So dividends we know is cleared out, so that's going to be 0. This is going to, we'll just gray this out. That we're not going to use. Retained earnings is the only thing that's going to remain. And so it should be the combination of whatever we have here. Let's just drop this down here. Okay. Let's put this down here. Whatever we have here, plus whatever we've done here. This is going to, so I'm making like a transactional journal for retained earnings copy. All right. So it's going to be the net of these values. So what we could do is just say, because we know it's going to be a net debit side, so we can do the sum of this side minus the sum of this other side. Think of it as a T account for retained earnings. Okay, so this is what we should have for retained earnings, closing balance. So we can come in here, return to question, and let's go to required number 2. There we go. Let's make this over here like we did before. Oops, wrong side. Right there. Okay, now we can start filling this out. So this is going to be cash 101 for 18,000. This is going to be 126. Supplies for 9100. And I'm using my tab and my keypad function to do all this, so it makes it a little easier when you have numbers instead of text to code this stuff in. 2,000, and you've got 167 for 23,000. Then you have 168 accumulated depreciation as a credit for 6,500. And then you have 307 as common stock, 4450. And then you have retained earnings, which is 318, and the 318. There we go. And that's going to be this value, this 41,150. 41,150. Now, It does balance out, so we should be good. Check my work. And all done. That is question number 8.